So, hey, Storm Freaks, it's Phil. And a little while back, we did a storm training series. It was a 3-part series. And tonight, we're actually extending that with a part 4 to this whole series, all about storm tracking and chasing in Dixie Alley. We've got storm chasers Brandon Clement and Brett Adair with us tonight. All kinds of other shenanigans we got coming up. But it's all here on episode 222 of Stormfront Freaks Live.
Going green. Greenwich. Saddle up. You got it, boss.
So, hey, welcome to the most entertaining weather show. This is the award-winning Stormfront Freaks Live. It's brought to you by our friends at the Drive Weather app. Drive Weather gives motorists the peace of mind knowing what weather to expect on their road trip or on their route. So go ahead and use Drive Weather to plan around the weather, find the best time to leave, and know when to stop to wait out a storm. Go ahead and visit driveweatherapp.com for more information. I want to do a shout out, as always, to our Patreon members and teammates. They're all scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. We love you guys, and thanks for being a part of our team. You can also join the team as well. We've got our exclusive Facebook group that's got over 50 of our past guests on that, as well as all of our co-hosts. You can help support the show and join the team for as little as $5 a month. There's also tiers that come with exclusive Stormfront Freaks merchandise. But you can all find out more about this Patreon team at stormfrontfreaks.com. Also, welcome to everybody that's joining us on the YouTube chat. So I'm seeing some of our locals, right? Like we are. So you guys, a lot of you know I work up at Miami University up in Oxford, Ohio, which is a college town. So when the university is in session, they probably got about 20,000 students, right? When the summer shows up, the town's back down to about 10,000, 5 to 10,000 people, right? And so there's the locals. They're always around, right? Coming out to the bars, having drinks. And we got our locals. I see Fuzzy and Carly and Nikki. I mean, we got our townies that are staying around. Christine. So a lot of great people. Nikki. Josh is there. Yeah. Also saw Sassy. Sassy. So Sassy, how you doing? But anyway, thanks for joining. And if you got questions for our guests tonight, feel free to ask. We might be able to have a chance to ask those. Certainly super chats will move to the front of the line as well. But we do want to introduce our co-host. So if you happen to be new to the show, we like to let you know who's with us as far as our co-hosts go, but find out what they're drinking. We like to kind of sit back and have a great time on this weather podcast, weather show. We don't take ourselves too seriously, which you'll find out soon if you're new here. But let's go around the horn and find out who's here. Jennifer Watson, who is our on-camera meteorologist at the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
Jen, what are you drinking tonight?
Coffee in my Twister's mug, though, because I still have. So I'm doing the career fair at my daughter's school tomorrow, and I still have to plan it all out and do all the things. So, and I'm going to be up very early.
Good job waiting to the last minute, Jen.
Oh my God. Well, it's hard.
I know. I'm teasing you.
I've got 3 different jobs basically.
So Jen, you've been on the show long enough, and we know you usually don't drink. You don't have to keep coming up with excuses why you're not drinking anymore. We get it. We support you.
Hey, Jen. Yeah. One time I did the career fair at my kid's school, and I'm thinking, hey, storm chaser, I got this, right? Like nobody's gonna touch me on this. The guy ahead of me was a jet fighter pilot.
Oh my God!
And the guy after me was a golf pro. I'm like, give me an accountant, give me a lawyer, give me something I can work with over here. Unreal.
Oh my God. It's okay. I've got balloons. I've got candy. I've got tornado stickers and other
things. Oh, you're good then. You're golden. You got candy.
Yeah, see, dudes, we can't go to schools with bags of candy, Jen. we get in trouble. We get in trouble if we do that.
This is true.
All right. Since we're on you, Greg Johnson, our storm chaser photographer. Greg, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Canadian whiskey and Coke as usual.
Woo.
Yep.
I love it.
No fancy name for it tonight, huh?
No fancy name for it. You know what? I'm just, I just got home and I would be in bed if it wasn't for this. Podcast, so.
All right, Dina Knightley, our meteorologist and weather producer at weather.com. Dina?
I just have a light beer and I put it in my thermal mug. I'm not very, fancy.
That is fancy. You're taking it out of the can or the bottle, whatever.
Well, yeah,
That's
I did take
fancy.
it out of the bottle, but I've been sitting up here for a little while, so I didn't want it to get warm.
All right, then we got our friends and our VIPs. Dan Wallace is joining us in the studio tonight. Dan, what you drinking? Anything? You better be. You usually bring something.
I'm not drinking anything yet, but wait till later.
Okay.
Ah,
The suspense.
I like
You're
drunk
teasing
Dan
us.
though.
All right, then we got Angela Krager as well. Angela, what are you and your cat drinking tonight?
Ooh.
We're being nice and legal. So we're not
Okay,
drinking
well,
anything.
good for you.
Nice kitty though.
The Stormy.
Stormy, very nice. All right, well, let's. Hey, I don't want to forget. We got MJ's in the back. I don't know if he's going to come on or not, but he's usually drinking something. But by the end of the show, he's still showing up. Yeah, there he is. What do you got?
Yeah,
MJ?
no, I just honestly, I have root beer tonight. Sorry, to
root
disappoint.
beer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's yeah.
You're like the little kid that tries to be like mom and dad who are drinking beer, and you got the root beer.
I got my root beer.
You're
We'll
good to
get you
go.
your own.
I usually
root
mix
beer.
that with something, but I just, tonight I didn't get to it. So sorry.
All right, well let's do this. We got some great guests here tonight, man. I'm excited about this, and Greg, you got the honors.
All right. Well, listen, this whole show is about Dixie Alley and, what makes Dixie Alley chasing different than the rest of storm chasing and tornado chasing across the plains. Like, what is different about Dixie Alley? And so we've got two of the best anywhere in the world that know how to chase Dixie Alley. First up, we've got Brett Adair. He's a meteorologist and storm chaser. Brett's born in Alabama, born and raised. He's graduated from Mississippi State University, and Brett quickly launched his career in 2016 with Weather Nation TV as a field meteorologist tracking dangerous storms. He's also a business owner and operates, get this, guys, Live Storms Media LSM firm for professional videographers and storm chasers around the world. Brett, I have to imagine that 2024 was a big one for you guys, hey?
Man, it's been stupid busy, and we're very thankful that hopefully we don't have to deal with another hurricane, since Belize and Nicaragua are going to take care of that for us right now.
Right on.
Yeah.
So we got Brett, and then also joining us tonight, we've got Brandon Clement, who's another great storm chaser, one of the best in the world. Brandon is one of the world's leading independent weather videographers. Brandon, oh my God, Brandon and Brett. Oh Jesus. Brandon has been storm chasing and documenting natural disasters for more than 20 years. His videos have been seen by billions globally, and that's billions with a B, not an M. Brandon resides in Mississippi, but travels the globe covering weather and other events. And tonight, Brandon, you are coming to us from Thailand. That's pretty wild.
Yeah, I got to jump off for a vacation after the last hurricanes, and I originally came out here for like 8 days, and now it's been like 15. I'm just in no hurry to get back, waiting for a big weather event. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having on the show.
So this isn't a typhoon situation with you over there?
No, there's been a couple typhoons. I thought about it. A volcano went off in Bali the other day, and I thought about that too. So if something pops off, I'm definitely gonna, worthwhile. I'm definitely gonna jump on it. But no, it's been for fun. I needed a break.
That sounds great. Well, listen, let's get the whole Dixie Alley conversation started. And Brett, I'm going to start with you, and let's talk about the big question, the big difference. What is the thing about Dixie Alley, if you could put it into a nutshell? What is the one thing about Dixie Alley which makes it so much more difficult to chase than the plains?
Well, there's a lot, but the one nutshell thing is obviously going to be terrain. Terrain and trees. Once you get into the Ozarks and you go east toward the Appalachians, we deal with trees here. Road networks are not gridded, so when you're dealing with those two main issues, and I guess I hate to go into another one, but nighttime tornadoes are a lot more prevalent in this area too. So we deal with a ton of fatalities due to that. And, those in terms of chasing, though, the network not being gridded and then the trees represent, and create some serious issues when you're trying to chase in this area.
Hey, Brett, let me follow up on that question because I live down in Georgia. Jen does too. I've tried to chase down here, and I swear I almost lost my mind. Like, I went out, I was like, this is so stupid. And I came home, because you can't, even looking at like Google Maps, I'm trying to get up higher. There's too much traffic. You can't see over the trees. So I was actually really looking forward to asking you guys this because like, I just don't know how to chase down here. Like, what do you suggest? Do you suggest looking at Google Maps and terrain more? Like, I just don't know what to do. I'm very unsuccessful down here.
One of the things for me personally is we've just drove, and I think Brandon can echo this. We drove this part of the country so much for all types of weather events that we just remember a lot of different places, and we kind of mark some spots, honey holes per se, that are really
I'm gonna
nice.
put that on my Google map as a honey hole, and hopefully nobody sees that on my map.
Maybe a bad term, but it's okay.
I like it. I'm taking it.
Well, they're good spots that are not only good for visuals. I mean, because again, drones have helped us tremendously. Will not lie about that.
That's
having the ability and the capability to have had the drone up, and then also now that we got a little bit more technology than maybe some of the other storm chasers out there in the vehicle. So a lot of times we can hook straight into our systems in the truck and live stream that straight out. So that helps us as well. And we may be 5-10 miles from a storm, but we can see what's coming at us, and we may be able to position a little better, further out front for, if we see a big mezzo coming and, it needs a little bit more time to possibly drop a tornado, we can position a little further out front because we've got a pretty good visual of it, even with the trees in our way. So, technology's helped a lot in that regard. In terms of Google Maps, I mean, we're using Google Maps, but we're probably using Waves because we're speeding a lot. I kid. I mean, mapping solutions are going to be the easiest way to kind of, figure out where you're going. We're using so many different tools between radar, drones, maps. I mean, there's really not a single solution to meet all of your needs.
Yeah, but that's what I wanted, though. I wanted you to give me the magic single recipe of how to get a better view, because I did. I came home one day, I took my hat, I threw it, and I'm like, this is so stupid. It went back. I can't do it.
I want to back up just a little bit,
Brandon.
Brandon. I'm
more successful than
start with you, Brandon, and ask you really first off forecasting, because Dixie Alley is a different beast when it comes to forecasting times of the year. That certainly they've got severe weather down there. Is a lot different than chasing in the plains, which maybe more people are used to doing. But I guess talk a little bit about, Brandon, the season down in Dixie Alley, and talk a little bit about forecasting. What are you looking for to go? Yeah, because it does stink so much sometimes to chase in Dixie Alley, but the rewards are going to outweigh the risk at this point. What are you looking for?
Well, first for Dina, she may have been more successful than she thought. And Dixie, if you get a good tornado, like a good tornado once every 2 years, you're killing it, because there's not a lot of opportunities to get clean visual tornadoes in Dixie. So there's just not. So most people come in with the mindset that they're going to come down and there's going to be 30 tornadoes. They're going to have a big day. They're going to see a lot. Well, I've been within a mile of 6 different tornadoes in the same day and never saw one of them. So it's
really wow.
See, that's crazy.
I feel a little better.
Very, very difficult. Yeah, it's really difficult to find. Yeah, it's a tough place. And as far as the one thing that goes that's different about Dixie, that one thing is everything. Everything is different in the plains. The speed at which it happens is the one thing that catches most people off guard. You make one wrong turn. If you're not one good road, you're away from just losing a supercell. You may be on it for 2 hours, and then you make one wrong turn, or just have one road option that's not great, and then all of a sudden that storm leaves you and produces a tornado of the day. So it's a very difficult place to chase, and it just takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to get very low rewards. But as far as forecasting goes, what I look for in Dixie, it's pretty similar on the forecasting side. It just depends on the time of the year. Usually I'll look for whatever's lacking. So if you have a high shear, low cape day, I'm looking for instability. If you have a lot of instability and low shear, I'm looking for shear. So I'm looking for whatever's missing from the ingredients. I also notice a model bias in Dixie tends to forget about a confluent zone that sets up out in front a little bit. And normally that's what I'm focused on. SPC will have a giant moderate over here at day 2, but by the time day 1, it's that confluence zone they're worried about. That's the area that I usually focus on. You get a little bit better wind profiles out in front. The winds are a little bit more back to the surface, a little bit more westerly at the mid levels. You get a critical angle up around 70 to 80. Tends to be better in Dixie, where if you're getting closer to the front, closer to the forcing, those critical angles tend to drop down to the 40s, and everything gets pinched off. It's really hard for storms to spin. So that's some of the things I look for. But I mean, there's a million different things, and when you're talking about Dixie in December versus Dixie in April, it's two different beasts. So it really just depends.
What Brett? How about you? Like, is from a forecasting standpoint, or again, just deciding. Is this a storm day that I'm going to actually consider chasing? What are those things that you're looking for, especially if they're different than out on the plains?
Man, 9 times out of 10, we're chasing everything. If we have any bit of instability down here, like now, we're in November and December. And if we have any, bit of instability, I mean, we've had significant tornadoes in my DMA CWA area with 500 Cape, because we've got 800 0 to 1. In some cases that doesn't work out and your storms get ripped apart. But in some cases you've got just enough lift and instability that causes the magic to happen. And like Brandon said, this time of the year, we're not used to seeing 3,000-4,000 Cape like we're going to see in March, April, May type events. We may see 1,000, 1,500, and that's going to set off alarms and red flags. When you've got a powerful trough moving in, look for that 100 knot max at 500 with divergence coming over top, and you're like, uh-oh, this is a bad day. But that's the biggest thing too. Like Brandon said, confluence boundaries for us are huge, because, once you get a force line, it's really hard, other than QLCS type tornadoes, which very dangerous. You're not going to see. They're going to move at a rapid pace. And we want to see some of that more supercellular type action where we can actually see something, because the moisture profiles here usually are so thick. In the plains, you're looking at the dry line. Dry line's great in the plains. Here, you're looking at 400 millibar deep moisture column in many cases with very little drying. So you're going to see a tornado, and it's going to look like a giant rain shaft, because that's basically what's going to be wrapping all the way around it. It's grungy here, and that's the reason people get in trouble and get killed. They can't see it coming. It's moving at 60 plus. It hits them, and if they're not in shelter, they're done. So very challenging. But look for the missing elements.
Okay,
sorry.
Let me just jump in here, Brett. Then, if given everything you're saying, then is there something you do differently on the day of a chase when you're planning to chase? Is there something you do differently in Dixie that you maybe wouldn't do, or don't even worry about doing when you're on the plains?
Absolutely. In the plains, I mean, the tornado can go across the hood if it wants to, and I don't care. It doesn't scare me in any capacity for that to happen. I mean, I think Brandon would say the same thing. And, some plains chasers might get mad about this, but the plains for us is literally more like a vacation. It's like low stress. I enjoy going out there. If it's not going into the major towns, it's just great for us, because it literally is more like a vacation. Here, we got to be more on our toes. We've got to be ready for not only what's possible and what we're going to chase, but we don't just, keep going after the tornadoes. If the town gets smoked, we have to get out do first aid, we do search and rescue, we do damage risk assessment. You know, we're working with a lot of different organizations as well while we're in the field, providing information and assisting as much as we can.
And I have a question. I've worked in Dixie Alley and Tupelo and Huntsville, and I'm curious for both of you, Brett and Brandon, because I've known both of you for a really long time. When it comes to chasing, especially right along the Mississippi River and then the Delta, is that a better area? And then let's say also North Alabama, the Tennessee River following that. Have you found more success, less success? What are some, geological features that you tend to have better success when you're chasing?
Well, the Delta is as good a chase terrain as there is on the planet. It's as good as Western Kansas. It's as good as Northern Illinois. It's as good as it gets. The chase terrain. Now, the problem is it's not a very big area. You got a huge river that runs in between, right down the middle of it. There's not many places to cross it. There's not gridded roads. So there's issues within that, but you got good cell service. You got just a flat terrain. You've got wide open country. It's just as pristine as it gets for seeing storms. So when you get in the Delta and you get an afternoon chase in the Delta, and it's been a long time since we've had a really good one. They used to, it seems like they were more frequent until the last 8-9 years. Last 8-9 years have not had many of them. But when you get those systems set up there, they're a lot of fun. They're going to be moving fast. Speed's still going to be there. They may still be grungy, but even the grungy ones, you can see stuff at least. You don't have the trees. But every now and then, you can also get on a really pretty supercell out there. So it does happen.
Right.
Okay. What about you, Brett? Like, especially like North Alabama, Tennessee River, how does that impact chasing and everything?
Like Brandon mentioned, for me, that area east of Little Rock, Jonesboro, down to Star City, all the way over, even, just east of Memphis, and then down all the way pretty much to I-55 there in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Love that chase terrain. I feel like that there's a ton of moisture pooling that goes up the Mississippi River. So if we ever see the battle zone type of setup where we're going to see, an explosion of cells, that moisture pooling absolutely helps. I believe that there's also a factor. You see higher winds. If you look at, surface data, you see higher winds and you see increased horizontal vorticity along those riverbeds. I love that. If we've got that, if you've got the trough coming out and entering that area where you've got a nice warm sector in place, that spells trouble. And then the Highway 72 corridor there along the Tennessee River, same thing. If you go look at tornado history and see where some of your most violent tornadoes have either started or intensified, look at the riverbeds. Look at those riverbeds.
That's great advice.
Those are really good points, you guys. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. And then
particularly the riverbeds that run from the northwest to the southeast. I'm a big believer that they back the winds, that they help channel and back the winds to the surface along with the moisture pooling. There's no doubt in my mind there's something there. There's something to it.
Yeah. And then I have a one more kind of random question, thinking about the trees and all the trees there, the pine trees in Mississippi, and you get the big storms. Do you have like a chainsaw in the back of your car and truck? Like, are you ready to do that? Yeah. What kind of things do you
That's good. Let's talk about prep. Like, how do you have to prep for chasing in Dixie Alley that you probably don't have to do when you're in the plains? That's good. Jen,
wait, you don't need a chainsaw on the plains?
I mean, see, we just need to take a road.
I'm just teasing.
We need to take like a road crew of linemen and tree cutting individuals and maybe just a medic in the back, because all three of those become extremely vital here. I think Brandon's pretty much in the same boat. We've got some form of a chainsaw in most cases, a tow strap or a pull strap where we can either hook up to a brush guard or hook up to a winch on the truck. I'll give you a great example. When we were in Hurricane Helene, the Interstate 10 corridor down there from Tallahassee to the east, it took me 4.5 hours to get through it because I was using my push bumper and pushing all the trees off I-10. to get
Wow.
back
Wow.
from Madison. I think it was Madisonville, Florida, over to Tallahassee, 40 miles. Because literally trees galore. And that's what we deal with in tornado situations too. If you get behind one, you're going to be cutting trees out of every road that you go down. That's the reason, our motto, like, especially in the winter, is you better stay ahead of it, because if you ever get behind it, you might as well cover the damage, check on the people, because you're never going to get back ahead of it moving at 60.
Yeah.
I do have one thing, like when you're looking at, okay, say SPC's got a severe area or moderate risk or something. Where's one area you're like, nope, not going there, like the no spot? Like, is there a spot that you're like maybe if it's too like you're in a valley or something, like you're just like, that's too dangerous for me, or you don't care, you're going?
I'll let Brandon
tell you
that one.
Oh,
Brandon's cutting out.
South Central Arkansas, no cell service. There's no roads. There's nothing but trees. It's a horrific place. As far as scary, look, there every chase, there's a risk reward element to every decision we make. If it's a rain wrapped tornado at night going through trees, I don't want anything to do with it. I've been there, done that. I've done it long enough. Storms don't scare me. Trees, semis, and people scare me. And there's no point pushing up into a rain wrapped tornado at night and getting hit by a tree and killed, so you can see vertical rain hit your windshield wiper. It's not a fun feeling to be there. It's nothing to be gained by being there. So you have to take those decisions, each one as they go, and so many variables. It's like a algorithm working all the time with each storm. Now, if you're in some of these areas like South Central Arkansas, I've seen some good tornadoes there too. I've seen some really good ones. You get just a little bit of a clearing, and all of a sudden you get a supercell that puts down a tornado, then you can be in for a treat. It may not last long. You may not get a great viewing. It's not like the plains where you drive along the side of a tornado for 20, 25 miles, but you can get a peek at a really good tornado. You can also get yourself in trouble with storms that fire on its flank, because they happen really fast here, and there's not a lot of roads to escape, so you've got to constantly keep your head on the swivel. But like I said, it's changing variables every second. Everything happens really fast. You have to be super.
Yep.
Brett, I'm going to jump in here. Brett, I'm going to jump in. We're going to be taking a break here in a moment, but before we do that, I want to talk about something that you mentioned a few minutes ago, which was the fact that in Dixie, one of the hallmarks is nighttime tornadoes, right? Like the times of year that we're seeing tornadoes happen in Dixie Alley, maybe sunsets at 6 o'clock, 6:30 kind of thing. It's a little bit earlier than it is in mid-season in the plains. And so we get a lot of nighttime tornadoes. That must provide a level of danger, a level of complexity to the whole storm chasing thing. What do you do differently when you're in a nighttime tornado threat in Dixie Alley?
Well, Greg, it really depends, because like this time of the year, when we're dealing with these low instability situations, then we also lose our element of lightning. We get a lot of tornadoes down here, even some stronger ones, and we don't have lightning with the cells very much. It's sporadic. So, during the spring, at least we've got a lightning element to help us with some of the visualization, because, for me, lightning's a pretty key indicator if you've got a strengthening cell versus a weakening cell.
For sure. Yeah.
And I like to try to use that, obviously to help me, but also help me with visuals. So, time of the year is huge on that, but I'm going to tell you, technology now is massive in terms of the safety element. During the day, you can see with your eyes. At night, you're more or less riding blind. So the radar is a very important element. I'm glad for, enhancements in cellular data technology. Not only that, but, with Starlink coming out and getting advanced, that helps us a lot to try to stay, safer. I've gotten some hairy spots. The latest, the Hattiesburg pedal tornado back in, I think it was 2019. EF3, I'm 200 feet from it, spun in the middle of a ditch right by, down the road from Southern Miss University. And then literally 50 yards north of my truck, there's a brand new Toyota Tundra full size flipped over in the road. The guy gets out. He's concussed. He gets hit directly by the tornado. So bottom line, if you're not willing to take a risk to chase at night down here and accept the risk that you're taking, it's a very good idea not to do it, because even the most experienced are going to get in, situations. I've been hit by 4 tornadoes. That was easily the strongest one. All the other ones were relatively weak, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely, there's a level of risk involved, period.
So I'll tell you what, we're talking about driving, we're talking about road trips and all that kind of stuff. If you happen to be planning a road trip and you're kind of dreading the unexpected, which I always do in the winter, especially, right? We've all been there. Blue skies 1 minute and bam, you've got a downpour or a snow squall right out of nowhere.
But not anymore. Thanks to Drive Weather app. It shows you real-time weather conditions along your route so you can see if it's rain, snow, or storms that are ahead.
And it's super easy to use. All you got to do is just enter your start and your end points. It maps out the weather for the entire drive. You just adjust your time of departure, and it will actually update the forecast when you do that.
No more guessing or getting caught in that bad weather, whether you're driving all the way across the country or just a few hours. Drive Weather helps you stay safe and plan smarter.
So download the Drive Weather app today on iOS and Android. Make your next trip smoother and safer.
That's Drive Weather, your road, your forecast.
Yeah, so hey, we're going to take a short break, but we're going to be right back with more Dixie Alley wisdom from Brett.
Mesoscaleforecast.com brings us StormNet, a state-of-the-art deep learning model designed to revolutionize severe weather forecasting. The innovative tool is tailored to provide unparalleled real-time predictions of severe weather events, including probability of wind, hail, and tornadoes. And now they've added Hurricane Vision, a cutting-edge hurricane track and intensity prediction system that uses deep artificial intelligence to predict the track and future intensity of tropical cyclones. You've seen us use it on our Storm Front Freaks live outbreak coverage with meteorologist Stormcat 5. Now you can use it as well. Visit Mesoscaleforecast.com and access live data subscriptions. Plus, when you enter the code Stormfront, you'll receive a 10% discount for life. Yes, for life. Go to Mesoscaleforecast.com.
The Stormfront Freaks is now available on the Weather Store. Come shop our catalog of shirts, hats, and hoodies, all with our Stormfront Freaks logo and Outbreak logo. Plus, you'll find all your other favorite weather geek and storm chasing gear, footwear, and accessories. Visit the Weather Store at thewxstore.com, the exclusive supplier of the Stormfront Freaks.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
All right, welcome back. So we got Storm Chasers Brett Adair and Brandon Clement joining us as part 4 of our storm training series, really focusing on Dixie Alley right now. But I wanted to ask, and I'll start, Brandon, I'll start with you as well, because you're in Thailand, and I think that's pretty funny and pretty cool that you're in Thailand and we're talking about Dixie Alley, because they're kind of the same thing, right? But so I want to know a little bit. We talked about forecasting. We've kind of talked about things that maybe you need to prepare for that might be different. I want to know from an equipment standpoint, right? Because I know and where you initially, things that I found from you, Brandon, that blew me away were some of your drone footage. So I'd have to imagine with the trees in Dixie Alley, the benefits of having a drone are pretty huge. When you're chasing a storm, at what point are you deciding having a drone? Now's the time to put it up. Now's the time to try and get footage. I'm going to pull over. I'm not going to keep driving or chasing. I'm going to try and get footage because we got a lot of people that watch and listen to us that also have drones.
Man, that's one of the toughest questions in the world. It's a very difficult decision because if you stop in Dixie, you're done. So if you put that drone up, if you're not way out in front, now I will use it way out in front, just say, hey, let's see what's on the ground, see if it's on the ground, see what's happening. But if you're close to it and you're actually trying to get footage from a drone of a tornado, then it's a decision that you have to make is, hey, do I want to give up on the storm right now? Is this the best I think it's going to be? So that's kind of what you have to do. It takes 4 or 5 minutes to put it up, get actual video, and get it back down. 4 to 5 minutes in Dixie is it's 45 minutes in the plains. It's when storms are moving 65 miles an hour and you don't have any parallel roads. Basic math tells you're not going to keep up anyway. So if you give up 4 to 5 minutes, you're done. So you better think it's the right time, it's the right place for it. It's just a constant calculation that's going on in your head while you're chasing. It's like, all right, it just feels right. I think right now it's on the ground. It's probably eating. I may not have a road network or road access to keep up with the storm from this point. Put it up.
Brandon, do you this might sound crazy, but do you ever, or have you ever heard of night vision? Like, is there something that you can use for night vision when you're chasing in Dixie?
Yeah, it's this thing called Doppler radar.
Okay. Okay, so you're not like there's so I'm out of touch here. Like I'm out to lunch. Like we're not using night vision anything.
Oh no! Look, if it's like Rolling Fork and you're out in a wide open area, or the Mayfield tornado when it crosses 55 in Haiti, Missouri is wide open Delta area and there's tons of lightning. No, I mean you go play it like it's a daytime tornado and go shake the tornado's hand. But if you're in the trees and it is night, if you're in the trees and it's nighttime, you could put a drone up maybe and do a long exposure and hopefully get one flash, a power flash, and maybe some blurry tornado off in the distance. But
see, I thought maybe you Dixie chasers had some like secret like goggle night vision things or something that would help you.
Brett does. I've seen him.
I can see.
Yeah, we've got some. I mean, look, deciding on the drone situation at daytime or at night. That's almost like cutting a tree out of the road and leaving your chainsaw laying there. I mean, you literally could get that thing ran over really quickly by a tornado or a car, per se. But anyway, it's one of those things where, I think with like drone technology, especially, one of the good things is, Brandon, you remember the new Boston, Texas tornado deal a couple of years ago? I think it was in March, April. I mean, I had the drone up. That tornado, that supercell was going for 40 miles to the southwest. I had the drone up watching the tornado come for many minutes from probably 8-9 miles away because of power flashes, because that's about the only way we can see anything now. A lot of the higher tech drones now have like thermal imaging, but you can't see anything in the distance. Maybe if a propane tank explodes or something, you'll get a glimpse of it. But, if you're doing search and rescue, I mean, that'd be wonderful to have the thermal imagery on the drone, the FLIR, all that's, absolutely great for that. But in terms of, drone and night vision, not yet. I mean, hopefully we can get there because that would be amazing.
Now, I have a question about
the camera works too. I'm sorry.
Oh, nice. Keep going.
The camera, the camera, the A7S3 camera that I use, some of the higher end DSLR cameras, and you can really crank that ISO up on it. You can see there's a difference. There's a big difference, but it's still not night vision.
Makes me think though. I'm closing my curtains.
Oh my God.
That's X-ray technology, Dina.
It is X-ray
I don't see you, but you see me.
That's right.
Is Storm Chaser convergence as bad as it is in the plains in Dixie Alley? Like, how is that? Because I know the road networks, it's not gridded. You've got some rolling hills, you got the trees. Like, what is it like when you're trying to chase?
We are literally gonna see somebody get killed here sooner than later. That's a chaser, that's a spotter. And the reason for that is, I think, while social media is wonderful, it's a tool, right? It's a tool that we all use for a reach to disseminate really good information. I'm afraid because everybody's getting more ballsy, maybe the term. They're taking more risks. They don't care if it's night. They don't care if it's day. They don't care if it's in Dixie or in the plains. They're getting closer and closer. I mean, you've already seen several of them lose windows, lose vehicles. You know, again, I've had my close calls, not casting any judgment.
I mean, Rolling Fork was a great example of that, right?
It was, especially when a couple of the guys that got hit there literally watched the tornado coming from the southwest. And instead of, that's where knowledge plays a role too. Instead of turning around, they panicked and drove straight into the tornado, and how they didn't die is beyond me. Right.
Yeah.
That's a flat area. If you've ever been out there in the Delta of Rolling Fork, that's one of the flatter areas. I mean, Brandon will tell you, we could have tracked that tornado, and we did, for miles and miles without the worry of being hit. But a couple of people that aren't from that area and don't chase that area frequently, you see what happens.
I think that's the key, right? I mean, you go out to Nebraska, you go out to Kansas, and if you've been out there even more than half a dozen times, you kind of know Western Kansas, right?
Absolutely.
And I would imagine, I've only been in Dixie, I think, twice in my entire life chasing, and honestly, it's terrifying. I don't think I would want to be in the Tupelo area in an outbreak situation at night. It looks terrifying. I mean, and so knowing the area, Brett, does seem like maybe the best preparation that you can have is knowing the actual terrain.
Well, look, let's be honest here. I'm going to name one meteorologist that knows every square inch of my state in that span, and everybody knows James Spann and who he is. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, Brandon, I'll give Brandon more credit on certain elements of this than myself. We have been around the block with these things so much across such a large area that we know a lot of spots that we don't have to go look at maps or GPS to identify. And we remember those things. And there are certain features that we may want to, stay away from. But we've got that now by memory because we've been doing it so much. The newer guys and the newer chasers, and there's a lot of them coming out, congestion in the South is becoming a big issue because people are chasing everywhere. And they're doing it because, let's just be honest, they're seeing us do it. They see us do it, and they're like, all right, we're going to throw our hand at this. And, you can be successful 2 or 3 times, and that 4th time can bite you. I mean, but it can bite us too. You just got to be really well prepared and versed in certain situations. And Greg, since you mentioned Nebraska, I almost got caught up during the April outbreak there because of the stupid closed roads and the bridges in the eastern side of Nebraska that were destroyed from the floods earlier, another year or two prior.
Wow.
I mean, there are elements of surprise in any chase, and you've got to be thinking forward and not backwards.
See, I don't like chasing by myself in Dixie Alley at all. I did it once, got myself in a very bad situation, and I'll never do it again. Like, I always want to have at least one other person with me because it's terrifying. Right. Yeah.
Well, when things are sped up, and they are in Dixie, so when things are sped up, especially sped up 2 times, speeding things up 2 times feels like 4 times. It feels like a lot faster. So when you're getting radar updates every 3 to 5 minutes, and a storm is moving at 65 miles an hour, that means that storm may have moved 6 or 7 miles since your last update. That's a lot. That's not, and people aren't, if you're not used to dealing with that, it becomes an issue that can catch you off guard. You can get run over really fast. And if your radar misses one update and you don't pay attention, you don't see that, it can happen really fast. And I don't tell anybody else how to chase. I don't want anybody to tell me how to chase. I don't want anybody to tell me it's too dangerous or what I should or should not do. And I don't want to be that guy. But there's a risk reward element to everything we do. If I don't think I'm going to see a tornado, I think it's at night, and I think my chances of getting hit by a tree are higher than seeing just any type of tornadic activity. I don't want anything to do with it. I stay a few miles back. See a lot of times in Dixie too, where you'll have the big moderate risk PDS area up around a lot of forcing with squall lines, really messy. You'll see my dot 200 miles to the southeast out in open air where there's these little bitty pop-up thunderstorms. Hey, most likely none of them are going to go. But if one of them does, watch out. It's going to be a supercell. You'll get a nice clean tornado. I will bank on that 9 out of 10 times and let everybody else have the MCS running down I-20. I don't care. It's like, so people are like, what are you doing out there? What are you waiting for later? I'm like, no, just waiting to see what happens. Because I don't want anything to do with rain wrap mess and trees. It's just, I've done it. 15 years, I can look back at all the video I've shot over that 15 years and not find one usable frame of chasing craps. What's the point of taking that risk? So that's where I come from. I see other people that will dive right in the middle of a rain wrap mezzo in a rural area with nothing but trees on a single lane highway. It's like, all right, well, you do you, but I wouldn't do that. But I'm not going to tell them not to. That's their world. It's their choice. It's what they want to do.
That's good stuff. It's good stuff. So, hey, we always miss stuff. And so I want to make sure, Angela, I'm going to start with you. Just see if you've got any questions that we haven't talked about yet or we missed for Brett or Brandon. What do you got?
I do have a question. If it correlates to what you guys are talking about, I'm not sure. But I know post super outbreak, post 427, there's big talk about like the socioeconomic of people down there, building codes, stuff like that. Do you think that has improved since then? Are you finding people who are like more weather aware, who are more interested in it in that region than maybe before?
I mean, it varies. If we're being real here, they've gotten pounded over and over with false alarms in terms of warnings. Mm-hmm. That has been a big, huge issue, and that was one thing that the National Weather Service really put try to make a statement with that by basically using the false alarm rate tool now, where they calculate how many false alarms they have. I've known some situations where we've seen tornadoes touch down with no warning, due to that. We're trying to watch that false alarm rate. But here in terms of socioeconomic, I can say in my area where we, East Mississippi and then Alabama got completely wrecked that day. We did build back better in some of these areas, but we have a lot that's still not up to par. I mean, there's a reason that you see the most tornado fatalities in these areas, and that's because most live in mobile homes. That's what they can afford. And there's not a lot you can do about that unless we get some type of legislation, maybe, where those communities have to provide a community shelter. Or if you buy a mobile home, you get a storm shelter included in the price of that mobile home. I still feel like that we have the largest population of that in the country within our two states. And I feel like that until we get a grip on that, we're going to continue to deal with issues when it comes to tornado damage and fatalities.
That's a great question.
Hate the hatch.
Thank you.
I hate SPC's hatch because, and I hate that they use it for QLCS events. So while you can get a strong tornado in a QLCS event, it's rare. And I hate social media. So when SPC puts out that hatch, it gives social media the justification to hype every event. So when you constantly hype every event and nothing happens, people become desensitized. Mm-hmm. And when the real event does happen, people aren't prepared for it. They think the last time it happened, nothing happened. The last time it happened, nothing happened. The last time it happened, nothing happened. They're closing schools all the time. They're every single moderate risk that's happening. They're closing businesses. It is so counterproductive for society in the South, because when you get that supercell event, they're relaying that memory to the last event where they had to go take their kids out of school for no reason. And that's probably my biggest pet peeve with the whole way forecasting works, and social media amplifies it in a huge way. And the next time we do have a 427 or one of these big supercell outbreaks, it's going to kill a lot of people. All that hype, all these people that are putting out these maps and whatever the highest model shows, whatever the farthest out there is, the most intense is what they're putting out. That's what gets traction. And by putting that out there to get clicks and likes, it's going to kill people. It's going to result in deaths. It's going to happen.
I've got two things, and these will be quick. First of all, I'm going to jump on a soapbox here. I am so sick of consultants in TV meteorology. I cannot stand hearing the code red first alert death day or whatever we're calling it now, because literally they issued one of those for yesterday for showers in Tennessee at one of the local affiliates that I will not mention. And I'm like, dude, we've seen 30-mile-an-hour wind gusts and heavy rains before. Please stop. You're confusing your viewers. You're confusing the people that when you need to literally throw all the red graphics on the screen on a high-risk day and there's going to be a violent outbreak, everybody's desensitized. They're like, screw this. We've seen this before. We don't need this. We're whatever. It's going to rain today. That's one thing. Number two, I cannot stand the fact that when we have elevated weather days here, in particular in these two states, Mississippi and Alabama, everybody releases school. All right. Our schools are probably the safest structures for those kids because there's a large percentage of them that are literally getting released on a school bus. Their parents are at work. They're going into a mobile home. That's not where those kids need to be going. If the parents, that are in a solid structure, or if they want to come and get their kids and you don't want to count that against them, that's fine. But those kids do not need to be released, and it all spurs back to 2013, the Moore, Oklahoma EF5, the Plaza Towers deal. That was a horrible event. That was terrible. We had one in 2007 in Alabama Enterprise High School got hit, and we had some deaths there. But if you release those kids down there in Enterprise, in that county where you have a large majority of mobile homes, potentially how many more get killed in that scenario if you've got school buses on the road too late and those kids in those mobile homes? I hate that happens, but there's always an alternative that could end up much worse. And unfortunately, I feel like we've had some of those happen.
All right. That's good, man. That opened up a couple can of worms there, I think.
And Phil, did you notice that as Brett got more intense, the pounding on his tape, that was like, it was a real thing, Brett. I felt you there.
I saw a vein in his forehead start pumping.
That is a sore subject. I swear, if I could like get every news director and general manager in one room and just beat the consultant out of them, I would exactly.
Craigles.
Exactly.
No, we could continue talking about that.
Weather day or whatever. I just hate that, man. It desensitizes the whole product.
Yeah, all right, Dan. What do you got? What else did we miss?
Well, I'm going to actually stick with
that
Brett
can start
on
a
this.
30-minute conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to stick with Brett on this. So
Okay.
That's what you don't like. What would you like to see happen? What's your solution?
Well, communication issues, man. I still think the KISS method in explaining the weather to your common viewer is the way. Keep it simple, stupid. And I hate to use that term, but that's the easiest way to do it. You've got to dumb it down for the general viewer. You've got to say, look, we had thunderstorms yesterday, but tomorrow's a different type of day. Just because the sun's out, that doesn't mean that things are great and you're going to have a picnic afternoon. That's what we don't want to see. We want to see cloud cover to keep it cool. We've really got to educate, and we're not going to get everybody. Bottom line, if you think we are, there's no way it's possible. Some people just don't listen. Some people are hard-headed. I mean, I'm hard-headed about things, but that's the type of stuff that can kill you. And we have to continually pound that message because, again, desensitization is a real thing. If you have an April 27th and then you have 10 events that are hyped like April 27th and nothing happens, then the people are like, why would I listen to you? They forget about the good you did on that one big event, and they remember all the bad spread out over this large amount of time. It's something that we've just got to be straightforward. We don't need to fearmonger. And then when we are putting a message out there, we've got to clearly state what that message is so that people will listen. And not only that, understand. We need to tell people in this area, hey, look at your map of your state. Figure out where your county is. There are people in this state who I have people in my county who've never left the county their entire life, and they're in their 60s and 70s. They don't have a clue if they look at the state of Alabama where they're even at on the map. We have to educate them. Education's the key.
Brandon, go ahead. Jump in.
I don't think it's possible. Yeah, I don't think it's possible. I think algorithms rule the world. So if you have two headlines, one that says chance of storms this afternoon, some could be severe, and you have another headline right next to it that says intense tornadoes are going to ravage your state, which one are you going to click on?
Yeah.
Well, when you click on the one that tells you tornado is going to ravage your state, that tells their algorithm more people want to see this, and it starts getting pushed in front of the other one. So whatever's the biggest hype moves to the front of the line. And excuse me.
That's where
meteorologists.
The media, social media pieces are problematic now.
Mm-hmm. Well, so if your media outlets aren't doing it, then they're losing all their viewership to some random person on Facebook that's just hyping it out, just taking the most extreme model. And it becomes a competitive, like the media has to survive. And if they're not getting the clicks and views, then they're not going to be there. So they're under a lot of pressure to start hyping. And it just creates this feedback loop that's not a good one.
Good. Hey, and this is a great conversation. This is like a whole nother episode.
I know. We need to continue this. We could go forever.
The rants of Brett and Brandon, like that could be a whole 2 to 3 hour episode. I think that would be good stuff. But hey, that was the sound. So gentlemen, it's time for our lightning round. So this is our game show of what we call flashy and brilliant questions that we always play with our guests. You guys have played this before. Maybe not tonight's game, but you've played the lightning round before. But tonight, so I'm going to pull up just for you guys. This is one of the games that the Stormfront freaks play while we're in the car on the way to our storm target, and we're eating up all those miles on the road. And this is the world's cleanest dirty game. It is called Dirty Minds. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do one as a sample for you guys so you kind of see how this game is played. But there's 5 clues. You have to guess basically what object or what thing or what person I might be talking about. But I'm going to give you 5 clues. How I'll do it is I'm going to give you 3 clues, boom, 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 back to back to back. If Brandon or Brett, either one of you know what I'm talking about, go ahead and you can chime in and take a guess. Otherwise, I'll give you a 4th clue, give you another shot to guess, and then finally a 5th clue. So I'm just going to do a sample of the 5 clues and the object so you see what we're talking about, okay? The first clue is I get fingered a lot. The second clue is people love to stick me in their mouth. The third clue is just looking at me can make a woman drool. Number 4, I'm about 6 inches long. And number 5 is my nuts can get stuck in your mouth.
I know.
And the answer to that is a candy bar.
I was thinking about it.
Okay, that's so, right. So get your minds out of the gutter. Come on, what were you guys thinking? So here we go. So Brett and Brandon, I always the freaks can kind of jump in. Don't give these guys a little bit of a shot first to see if they can come up with it. But here we go. First thing, here's the first 3 clues. After I discharge my juice, I'm useless. A's are small ones. D's
Battery.
are big ones.
What did he say? Battery?
Yeah,
Batteries.
that's right.
Batteries. The last 2 clues: licking your fingers before you touch my pole will give you a big charge, and when I go down on you, someone else may need to jump me.
Oh God.
Okay, here we go. Next one. First 3 clues: I can swing both ways. When I'm open, you can come in the rear, and if you bang me too much, I could start to sag. Any ideas? Brandon,
Shock.
Brett? Shock? No.
Spring. Shock. Spring.
Shock. Oh, yeah, no. All right, 4th clue. When you grab my big knocker, you get attention.
I know what it is.
Greg goes, I don't know.
What do you think, Brandon?
A door knocker.
I'll give you door. It's door.
Door.
It's door.
Yeah.
The
I was
5th
thinking-
clue was if you fondle my knob, I might let you enter me.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my.
Okay, here's one. All right, Brett and Brandon, first 3 clues. When I start to slow down, I get harder. Once I blow the crust off, I start to flow. And I shoot out of a steaming hole. Sorry, a steaming hole.
I feel like I know what this is.
Volcano.
I'll give you lava. I'm going to give you lava on that one. Good job.
Yeah.
Right.
After an explosion, I ooze from your crater. And number 5 is sometimes I can come like a fountain.
Oh my God.
All right, we're going to do one more. You guys
do 2 more, Phil.
All right, we'll do 2 more. Here we go.
All right,
Brett and Brandon, first 3 clues. I'm a 4-letter word. I start with an F and end with a K. And I can stick hot meat in your mouth.
Pork.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
Sometimes your
All in the
juice drips
gutter.
off my prong. And I could come in a bag and end up in your drawers.
Oh.
Wow. That's a stretch, but okay. All right, here we go. We got one more. You, Brett and Brandon are having too much fun here. All right. First, these are the 3 clues. If you give me a little head, I won't look so flat. If you suck on me too much, you could pass out. And open up your throat and take all of me at once.
Ooh, that one's harder.
Ooh, I know what it is.
All right, here comes the 4th clue. If I get too hot, I could explode all over you.
Hot pocket.
Hot pocket. No. All right, final clue. I'm sometimes brown and 9 inches long. So the 5 clues: if you give me a little head, I won't look so flat. If you suck on me too much, you could pass out. Open up your throat and take all of me at once. And if I get too hot, I could explode all over you.
Popsicle.
Soda bottle?
A bottle of beer. A bottle of beer.
Beer.
Oh, good one, Gregos.
Good job. All right, gentlemen. Yeah, that was good. You showed up. And you did well. So let's do this. If you guys can stick around here through some of our other segments, I want to also ask you here at the end, kind of find out what some of the projects are that you guys are working on, because I know you've been busy with some other projects. But what I do want to find out is basically how people can find and follow you. So let's cover that first. Brett, I'll start with you.
Man, I've made the jump to doing Facebook still, meteorologist Brett Adair, Live Storms Media, Twitter. Made the jump to TikTok recently.
Woo!
Yeah, I didn't do TikTok, and I started during like one of the hurricanes, and I had like 100 followers, and I had a couple of little things go viral. So like I don't even know what my name is on that thing. Let's see what it is so I can not lie to you here. Twister Tracker on TikTok.
Twister Tracker.
So Yep, that's how you can find me.
All right, Brandon, how about you? Other than finding you in Thailand, where else can people find you?
YouTube, WX Chasing, or any of the social media platforms under WX Chasing, all one word. But YouTube's primarily where I'm focused these days. That could change because the social media platforms and algorithms change constantly. But for the most part, that's where I am. Also do a lot on Facebook, but mostly YouTube.
Very good. We'll tell you what, we are going to take another quick break. But when we come back, it's time for some more Weather Fools. And you won't believe these actual films in our tornado trailer trash. So stay tuned.
Don't miss Vintage Stormfront Freaks.
This one here, we do have a few dents in the new Suburban, but my truck, that hood's a trophy.
You might as well put 2 GoPros on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. See what it looks like.
So I'm like, I'm going to drive this thing into a tornado, and then they all start laughing.
Good. You'll be the only sober one by the end of the night.
Welcome to Outbreak, a new live stream format brought to you by the Stormfront Freaks podcast, hosted by me, meteorologist Brady Harris, also known as Stormcat 5. We'll go live on days of extreme weather with the goal of keeping you safe, informed, and entertained. The only question that remains is, are you ready for the outbreak?
Hey, I'm Winter Storm Specialist Tom Nizzle with Fox Weather, and this is Stormfront Freaks.
Let's take a drive under the moon. Let's take a drive under the somber sky. Let's take a drive under the moon.
All right, it is time for Weather Fools. I love Weather Fools. This is when we catch people doing stupid things in crazy weather. Sometimes it's us, sometimes it's you, sometimes it's someone we don't even know. But sometimes we ask ourselves, what in the world were they thinking? And we have several Weather Fools for you today. Let's start with you, Dina. What do you have for us?
This guy has, okay, so there's snow on a car, and instead of scraping the snow off of it, he has a jet engine in front of it. And he actually turns it on. And I was laughing at this because I'm like, for one, who has a jet engine laying around? And 2, I was waiting for the car to blow up. Or like blow off and go into the road behind it.
I actually think this is clever. I think
it's clever and it worked. And it actually, if you watch, you see these snow like melt on the ground too. But I'm like, where did they get this? How did this happen? And how did the car not blow up?
I think this is
just
smart.
Think this is so funny. You guys got to watch this.
High school project.
Yeah, it is a high school project. I love it.
I think this is university engineers gone wild.
Maybe.
You guys look at the cameras they have. They have 2 different cameras, like probably doing a time lapse.
Have those camera tripods over either. So maybe it is a school thing, or it's Russia. One or the other. Could be either. You know.
That's true.
That tracks. That tracks.
Well played, Dina. Well played. Oh my gosh, Phil, what do you have for us?
All right, so I got a few. First one comes from Luna Light, who's on the show. This is why you don't keep playing sports when thunder roars. Go indoors, folks. This is actually kind of a sad video, but it blew me away. If you guys haven't seen this, watch what happens.
I think I've seen this.
There's a little there. Did you hear that thunder?
Wow.
That was like close.
Yeah.
Watch this.
They're starting to think, oh, maybe we should stop playing soccer. No, let's keep playing a little bit. Finally, you hear the whistles. Someone was smart enough to say, yep, we better start walking in.
But they're
and look off to your right.
Yeah,
look off to your right. Someone wearing a red sweatshirt walking next to a soccer player. And they're going to come into the screen here in just a moment, and then just watch what happens in the car.
Oh, this is crazy!
Oh my God!
That is the craziest.
There had to be like 8 or 10 people that.
Yeah,
just
there
went
were
down.
probably about 8 people that dropped, 8 soccer players and people that dropped when that lightning hit.
Oh
and
my.
unfortunately, one did
Choreograph
die,
that better.
folks. One did die.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it just, guys, you just can't. You got to take lightning serious, and it's just unfortunate. Unfortunate for that to happen.
It literally looked like all those people got shot at the same time, and they
All
all
the King's
fell over
men.
at the same time.
All right, next one is. Oh, go ahead, Greg.
Well, I was just saying, like, it just it really speaks to the idea that lightning isn't this like one tiny little thing. Like, it's going to tendril out, and like all of those people got hit. Wow.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for that video, Phil.
All right, so again, folks, Thunder Roars going doors. This is from Fuzzy. So Fuzzy, thank you for this. He's on the chat as well. Time to get away from the window is what I'm going to call this one. This looks like could be down in Florida, folks. Maybe during a hurricane.
This was Milton.
What's that?
This was from Milton.
Okay, so definitely, but a tornado's coming. So watch as this person's filming the palm trees blowing like mad. It's getting crazy. Now they're blowing the other way.
Oh my
Fence is going. The window shatters out, but it cracks.
But hey,
I was really lucky that's all that happened.
Yeah. Like as soon as you see this, you dart inside.
Yeah, don't stand by a window.
Yeah,
you're not in an Iron Man suit.
That's so stupid.
That's the lesson. Just don't stand by a window.
You were really lucky though with that glass door that it didn't shatter.
And that was not a weak tornado. I think that was an EF3.
Wow.
I think you're right.
In their defense, Phil, I mean, it did escalate very quickly, right? And I think we've all been in that. I mean, if you were there and you were filming, and this probably wasn't on the coast, Brett, do you know? Like,
I don't think so.
No, this was inland, right?
This was north of Okeechobee, I think.
Right. So I mean, they're filming.
Right.
It's a big, strong thunderstorm. They're filming, and then it escalates in a couple of seconds. But
yeah, I mean, it's a hurricane band, right, coming through there, and
Milton had more tornadoes in that band than I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was.
I think Brandon was super out of the state for a little while.
And so the last one I did was Cool NATO. I'm going to call this last one Cool NATO.
Oh my God,
that's so funny. How cute.
That's got all these inflatable pools now up in the air. All these pools are flying around.
My daughter was so cute.
Oh my God. And
they're hitting
power lines.
Though.
That's so funny. That's great. I like that.
That is cute. That's
oh my gosh.
You ended on a good one.
Greg's got one too, I think.
I got one here as well, guys.
Yes,
now this dude might be either the most either the smartest dude on the show tonight or the dumbest dude. He backs up. All the traffic is stopped. Nobody wants to go through this flood zone.
Oh my God.
He backs up and he's backing through the flooded area of the road, and he makes it through. So it's like, are we doing this? Are we doing this next summer, Phil, or next spring when we're out on the plains?
No,
Is he just brilliant? And then he does a little 3-point turn here, and he's like, I'm out of here.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I did take out the front end of Orange Crush last season, so maybe taking out the back end of Orange Crush this next season is the way to go.
Oh my God, that's interesting.
I wonder what the science is here. Does anybody know, like car wise, does it make sense to go backwards through here? Is he trying to avoid getting? Hey, Brandon, hit this one.
Because
the water's just not that deep.
Oh well.
Yeah, it's not. But
the water's just not that deep. That's all it is.
Yeah, but if you go backwards, it does kind of make sense because that weight would at least not. It'd be pushing it away from your engine.
Pushing away from the air intake. Right?
I was thinking about that. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, still turn around. Don't drown. Don't drive through flooded. You don't know that road isn't compromised somewhere under that water. So don't do that. Stupid weather fool.
And you can catch all of these on stormfrontfreaks.com, episode 222 show notes.
Isn't that one of those where you use the back door to back up or something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, this is the part of the show called Tornado Trailer Trash. We've seen all the good tornado movies, Twisters, where like the the video and the tornadoes look super real, like you're right up there. But then you get the not so good low budget type movies that somebody took out in their backyard. And I think Phil has a couple to show us, doesn't he?
So thanks, Dean. I do have a couple. Before I really trash these, I should probably be careful because we might have the director of one of these on the show at some point, like we did last couple Christmases ago.
He was awesome.
But remember Phil though, he panned the show. Yeah, way worse than we panned.
That's true.
It, so.
That's true. I don't know that all directors understand that, but maybe they do. So I do have some really, really bad ones for you guys tonight to share with you. The first one is called Cash Storm. Cash Storm. So let's watch this. And
There is an epic tornado in the Central Valley.
Homeowners are advised to shelter in place.
It's a supercell.
It's a supercell.
Twists are running through town. We have front.
Look, the lasers. They're using lasers, so you know it's going to be good.
Oh my God, it's going to hit a bank.
It's a robbery.
I was hoping it was going to hit a bank.
Eyewitnesses report
It's a robbery.
suspects SUV heading west.
Those idiots are headed straight towards the funnel cloud.
Of course, they're going straight towards the tornado. He's trying the laser.
Oh my God, a tornado laser.
Look out!
They do think we already control the weather.
Yeah, for everybody that thinks the government controls the weather with lasers, there's your
You
proof.
guys rob a bank or something?
There you go.
Come on,
You guys rob a bank.
How much time? Our analysts estimate
So
nearly
what to do with all this money in our van with a tornado bearing down?
Oh, there, look at that.
It looks so real.
I've seen everything.
Look like a dust devil.
It did.
Cool NATO.
Our thesis is
When the crops around it
based
aren't
on the
moving.
theory that a funnel
Yeah,
cloud
that's
can be reversed.
yeah, that's right.
You guys can stop a tornado?
Oh, see, look,
It's
the
meteorologist.
government can stop a tornado with lasers.
So I can get my money back.
Well, we want to hit a bank and then go rob
All
it.
day.
That's what we're doing.
Do you want
So
your money
okay,
or
so
your-
that's the plan for next storm chasing
These
season.
are
Let's go
Yeah.
get a bank.
deadly conditions. The funnel cloud, it's touching down right.
Oh, I bet.
Oh.
Here's my guess. It spews money in the
Balance.
air.
Let's just take the van and
That's
get the
just
hell
a
up out of
guess,
here.
but
Screw the money. Screw the money?
screw the money. No, it's
Device can
all
kill a
about the money.
tornado. How's that
What's
even
that
possible?
Russian jet engine?
That's right.
Science.
Yeah.
Same one.
It's the same exact.
Content.
Who are these two? Oh,
I have no
content
idea.
creators. There you go. Brett, take some notes on their TikToking technique.
Exactly.
It's a long trailer. I feel like I'm watching the whole movie.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm just enjoying this
There's over $1 million
anti-cyclonic tornado.
I know. I can make way better graphics
can do what they
on
say
my
they can
weather
do.
system than this.
So am I.
Oh,
there they go. They flew up.
No doubt about it.
Oh, there's the laser.
We have ourselves a
Cash
cash storm.
Yes, you do. All right, so you guys
There's
can
that
go
laser.
catch
You
that
know who he's talking about.
at any point.
Okay, so Phil, all joking aside, somebody spent $1 million to make that movie.
I bet.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, I bet.
Who the hell's gonna
Wow.
watch that?
I don't know. Where did it air? Like, how did you even find
I
it?
think you know what I found that. Where did I see it? I was looking in
Had to be Amazon.
some of the. Well, it was either Amazon or it might have been any of those freebie like Pluto and Tubi.
Oh yeah.
Stuff
Oh,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, there's a lot of these. So, but that's not it. You guys think all the fun is over, and it's not, because I've got another one to share with you. This one is called Psycho Storm Chaser.
Oh.
Oh, nice.
Psycho Storm Chaser. I don't know why the audio keeps cutting out. On
rescued by Dr. Carl the Storm.
so this is a little bit of a mix of a horror film.
Is that what you
So
Oh, this
he's
might be
a-
kind of fun, actually.
This guy is a storm chaser, Dr. Carl, I think is his name or something like that.
Is
And
he also a serial killer?
could be, I think.
Hurricane Carrie
I think so. Oh, there's
has
some
rapidly
good
shifted
footage there.
course. All peninsula
Something.
residents are urged to evacuate to the main land immediately.
So whatever so there's a hurricane coming.
That
There you
old
go.
GR3 loop in there.
How long does Hannah's equipment
Oh my gosh.
have on battery?
So
30 minutes.
so what
I need
happens
to
here
send
is they're
some to
about to
town.
lose power. Of course, right? It's a horror movie. Someone's got to. Look at that.
Not staying.
He's a doctor
All this-
too, by the way. So he's some kind of a
100-year
doctor
storm
storm
without
chaser.
Wow.
Jason Persoff.
That's
There you go.
I don't think he's a medical doctor, but he could be. I just heard him.
I just
reference
played one
as
on
a doctor.
TV.
Yeah.
The storm's coming, Happy Fields.
The storm is coming.
I actually kind of want to watch this. I mean, I like horror movies.
All I know is whatever free software I use to download MP4s from YouTube, I got to find a different one.
Yeah.
This one.
At first, it sounded like maybe you were cutting out swears
stayed
or
behind.
something.
He's got a bat.
Oh, there's these.
There's the psycho storm chaser.
Oh my
Ooh,
God.
was that a chainsaw?
Oh,
Brett?
and he got some electricity.
Brett, I think that was a chainsaw. He
He
comes
went to the
prepared.
road, he picked it up on his way in.
He probably did.
Storm.
He's a killer.
There's someone else in the house.
Wow.
Wow, it's intense.
There's someone else.
Oh,
in the
has
house.
anybody seen any blood? Oh, there's blood actually. I was gonna say I haven't seen any blood yet. Tennis racket, that'll get him.
Oh, what a piece of
Oh,
glass.
psycho
Storm
chaser.
chaser.
Death toll crept up to 30 today, and authorities are concerned it'll go higher.
Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it'll go higher.
Oh, the death toll's gonna go higher, folks.
Oh, she's got a big door.
A lot higher.
Oh yeah, a lot higher.
This kind of guy looks kind of a little bit like Brandon Clement. Didn't you think he looked a little bit like? He did. He had a.
He did actually. Yeah.
He did. And a little bit psycho and yeah.
Is that why you're in Thailand?
Yeah. Are you running from the law?
My question is,
That's what he's telling us.
Well, do the fatalities get attributed to the storm in that situation?
Ah.
Or no?
Yeah.
Oh, good
True.
question. Yeah,
Great
I
question.
don't know. That is a good question. So anyway, you can find those as Jen said before. You can find those two trailers. We'll have links in the show notes at stormfrontfreaks.com, episode 222. Let's.
Send me a postcard, drop me a line.
You've got mail, baby. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna dig into our fan box. We had a message from Kyle Lawler on Twitter. Said, cheers to the news on Twisters commentary in 2025. So I had mentioned we were going to be doing a Twisters commentary. You know how we do movie commentaries?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be doing that sometime next year. He said, cheers to that news. Great show. Keep up the great episodes. Y'all are a blast to listen to. So thanks, Kyle,
Oh, thanks.
for that. Feel free to mention and tag us on your next Twitter post, and you might hear it on the next episode as well. So I think that just about does it for this episode of Stormfront Freaks Live. Thanks for tuning in, watching or listening, however you consume the show. Do us a favor, give us a like, subscribe to the show if you like it, all that good stuff, so that it shows up in your inbox right away. We appreciate that. Thanks to our special guests tonight, Brett Adair and Brandon Clement. You guys are good,
guys.
and I'm going to sign you up for sometime next year to get back together to talk about Brandon and Brett's soapbox. That's
Yes.
what we'll title that episode. But I do want to quick find out, Brett, tell us, and Brandon, I'll hit you next. What are you guys working on? I know you guys are also working on some new and different stuff, but Brett, I'll start with you.
Man, I've been doing a lot of different things. The weather finally got a little bit quiet, as you can see with Brandon on vacation for a little bit here. I'm working on tower cameras, sky cameras, remote cameras, with the storm chasing element. That's been one thing, dealing with the stringers and all the new technology with live streaming and trying to get on all the platforms. But I've been doing a lot of work now building infrastructure for a weather camera network that we're basically working with emergency managers, universities, broadcast media outlets putting in their Skycam networks. So that's been a pretty lucrative thing, but it's been extremely busy. And, we're about to cover up a couple of states in the Southeast and maybe some pretty close to where you are up there, Phil. So exciting things ahead. Headed to an emergency management conference in Southern Mississippi next week, digital meteorology conference the first week of December. And you know what? I haven't heard if you guys are all coming to the Chaser Summit in February. If so, we need to do a show there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be there. We are supporters of the National Storm Chaser Summit in February. So yeah, I'll be there. Jen, I don't know if you were going to be there this year or not, what your plans are. Anybody else?
I'm the MC of it, so I will be there.
So very good. So
Nice.
Jen will be there, and we got some other friends. So yeah, so cool if we're going to get a chance to see there. Brett, we typically always record with people while we're there and make a show out of it. So we'll try that again.
Cool.
So Brandon, how about you? What are some of the things you're working on besides the Thailand cuisine?
Besides this beer?
And that beer.
Copyright.
It's like 9 a.m. over there too. Good for you.
I know you guys. I had to have a good reason to go drink a beer, and you guys were that reason. So thank you.
Nice.
No, I've been working on copyright. People stealing content from content creators, particularly storm chasers, has been extremely catastrophic to a lot of people. A lot of income has been lost. A lot of people's abilities to do work has been lost, and we are fighting that fight against everything from media outlets to criminal organizations to bad governments that have been taking our stuff, and social media platforms that have been allowing it and been part of that profit-making machine that they've created to generate money from our work. So that's been a big battle I've been fighting the last 2 years, and that fight continues, and it's going strong.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, again, appreciate you guys coming around. Freaks, let's go around the horn, find out where people can find you guys as well. Jen, I'll start with you.
Yeah, you can find me at @jwatson_WX on X and Jennifer Weather on Instagram and TikTok.
Very good. Greggles?
Tornado Greg on social media, and Greg Johnson, Tornado Hunter on Facebook.
Cool. Dan Wallace, how about you, man?
I'm on YouTube at Dan Wallace WX.
Cool. Look forward to that. Angela, you're up.
At XJAngel89 on X and What the Girl on Instagram and TikTok.
Cool. All right, Dina.
I'm Lady Pilot 70 on X and Instagram and Threads.
You can find me on Twitter, and I jumped over now to Blue Sky as well. Just search Stormfront Freaks. You can find our accounts there. Our next episode, guys, we're talking a little bit about social media. We've got Storm Chaser and social media guru for Team Dominator, Edgar O'Neill, is going to be joining us in the studio. It's live Thursday, November 21st, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central on YouTube, while the audio podcast will be available that weekend on your podcast player. So another great chasing show that we'll have next week. For those of you watching, stick around for our always infamous after show party. But for Jen and Dan, Greggles, Brandon, Angela, Brett, Dina, and MJ, I'm going to go ahead and signal the all clear, and we will catch you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Stormfront Freaks podcast. You can watch our bi-weekly show live on youtube.com/StormfrontFreaks and download the audio version on your favorite podcast player. For links to our Patreon team of exclusive benefits, show notes, past shows, new videos, merchandise, and more, visit our website at stormfrontfreaks.com. While you're there, check out our interactive chaser radar from our friends at zoomradar.com. If you'd like to contact us with questions or make comments about the show, shoot us an email to questions@stormfrontfreaks.com or follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. Search for Stormfront Freaks. We'd love to hear from you. Join us next time and tell a friend about the Stormfront Freaks podcast.
I saw Brandon left us, and he was just getting into his beer. It's like the best time to stick around.
Oh,
when
Phil,
you got
I'm
breakfast
so
beer.
sorry. I love you
No, that's
guys.
okay.
I'll see you later.
Oh, okay.
Good night,
That's
Jen.
what you were doing. See,
I
good.
know.
Okay. Jen had it 1 foot out the door already. She's like, "I'm not done yet. Not done yet." Okay.
Oh my
All right,
gosh,
Jen.
love you
Have a
guys.
good night.
Bye.
So, Brett, great job, man. Thank you. Thanks for the time as always.
No problem, man. I'm gonna get with you and send you that information we talked about with the camera stuff.
Yeah.
I've got 2 other big universities that have popped to me in the last 24 hours. One up fairly close to you guys that want to cover an entire state with a network. So it's, dude, the camera stuff from that sense has went insane over the last 6 weeks.
Are you talking highway cams or just cams in general, not necessarily highway cams?
Tower cameras, sky cameras.
Got it.
What we've done is we built a solution that is affordable and available in a multifaceted way. Like if you go to the website hascams.com, you can see a bunch of our tower cameras and sky cameras that are up, and several of them have weather data. So we can actually integrate data from multiple weather sensors, and we've created a package where broadcasters can integrate these into their Barron and WSI systems, and they also can integrate the dynamic weather data that'll update every 3 seconds in their system too. And for whatever reason, this isn't something that's been done through a Barron system before. So Barron's like genuinely very interested in what we're doing, and we've done it affordably. I mean, a lot of these systems, when you go get a Skycam through various vendors, they're quoting, north of 15,000 per unit now.
Wow.
I mean, they're up there, they're high, and we can do, a little over a third of that. And then we've also got a subscription model where you pay a little bit up front, and then you pay a subscription fee per camera per month, and it gives you a perpetual warranty. So if any of that equipment dies, we replace it as long as you subscribe to what we're doing. And it's been asinine, the response that we've had, because apparently GMs don't do really well when they have to go ask for $100,000 for Skycams. But if I tell them, hey, you can pay $2,000 or $2,500 a month for 10 of them perpetually,
nice.
but you've also got a perpetual warranty, it's easier for them to get that through, which I make a ton more by doing that. So I'm cool with it, whichever way
Let
they
me ask
want
you
to
a
do it.
quick question, Brett, because WSI is part of the company I work for.
Oh yeah.
I've used those cams in our weather systems, and the URL, are they dynamic URLs that like stay the same URL?
Yes. So we've got a back end for anybody that's a client, and you'd basically log into our back end interface. And when you've got access to those cameras, they're static. They don't change. So everything's static from the weather data to the camera link for the client portal.
That's key for you, because and for us, because I can pipe in that video to
Yes.
a weather graphic, and as long as it's not changing, I can use it whenever I want. So
you
good
don't have
job.
to continually change that every
Right.
24 hours. Now,
Yeah.
like with our Storm Chaser feeds, the reason that those do that, it's basically where you have to click it and it activates a token. It's so we can track, who's taking that live stream video, because we don't want to have a static link for those, because honestly, in many production studios and newsrooms, they don't report to us when they pull the link. And I'll get, one of these storm chasers going nuts, and I'm like, whoa, no, we didn't do that. So I have to make it to where at each day you have to renew that token. So you have to ingest another link into SatOps.
That's
or whatever.
actually really smart. Really smart.
So
Phil, it sounds like this is a complete show on its own here. Talking about this, and because I could see a lot of interest, and just based on the chat right now, a lot of interest about that.
there's a tech side to this too. There's a company up in Pennsylvania. Have you guys ever heard of ISP Tech?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually talking to them right now because they're going to be at the Chaser
Yes.
Summit as well. And we're actually hooking up to maybe partner up on some stuff. Yeah.
All right. So John
nice.
at ISP Tech, which is the owner.
Yep.
He I bought all of my equipment in my Tahoe from him. So I've got the top package. I've got priority level 6 data, which is above FirstNet. If you can get above FirstNet, he says like CIA priority. They have some government priority stuff that nobody has apparently. So it's got 4 data cards in it. I've got a server rack in the truck and Starlink all combined, where I have a 25 meg pipe that goes in and out, no problems, no drops, no nothing. We ran it during the hurricanes this year, no frame drops, 0.
Really?
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
Now that cost me about $1,200 a month to have in my truck.
Woo.
But right, it's not something that your run-of-the-mill everyday storm chaser is going to have. But if you've got a video production, or if you're doing, a lot of television media, for me, it's worth it because, the video coming out of our truck is our lifeline, or our drones or whatever. So we invested in that, and I've got 4 or 5 other vehicles that we're going to build with that. But the tech, my truck's going to be there with them. That's what we're bringing out there. My truck and Brad Arnold's got a truck that also has all this tech in it for ISP. That's the reason they're coming. We're going to show all that off. So yeah, we'll be able to show you exactly what they've got.
That's cool. Yeah, I saw Brad had it too. He posted about that. So
yeah.
MJ, can you post up Christine's comment that she just made?
Yeah. Which one? This one?
Yeah, that one there. Yeah.
Whoops. No,
not that one there, but that one. Yeah.
There.
So, what do you think of that, Brett? Could you do a live stream from the ChaserCon?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. We're doing so. To give you an example, this whole tower camera thing that we've started, we're gonna. I went today and had to get a 16-foot enclosed trailer, and I got a 10-foot tower section and a base. We're going to build a tower and have a display at this emergency management conference with one of our PTZ cams live with the weather data from inside the conference room with everybody coming in and out next week. I'm thinking about actually setting the booth for that up at the summit as well, because there's a lot of people that attended that other than storm chasers last year. You had EMs, you had Mets, you had people that were just genuinely interested in all forms of weather and communication that were there.
Right.
So yeah, we could absolutely do a stream. And from what I understand, I talked to Eric. I don't know what the plans are on that yet. I think that they were knocking the streaming idea out to try to fill the conference hall up. But if we hit 500 or 525, I think there's actually a limit, because we hit that limit last year in Dallas.
Yep.
Once we hit that limit, we're going to have to do something, because there's going to be people that want to watch.
Yeah, and I know he has in the past. I don't recall if he did it last year, but I know he has in the past. So
right.
But it's always something that pops up in the last couple weeks,
Right.
before his show. But
it is an absolute production to put that on too. If the people really knew what was involved in order to get that live stream out, the venue was trying to charge us an asinine amount of money last year to use the internet connection to be able to stream it. So we literally ran 2 Starlinks out the side door to stream it.
It's like, screw you guys.
Exactly. Well, it was literally, I think it was a 5-digit number to use the internet service there for a couple of days.
And you know what? They do that at all those big conferences. They charge these, it's $500 to rent a table with a, black skirting on it. And,
yes.
and they're charging you, $300 a day for internet access and crap like that. It's just a money grab. It's ridiculous.
Well, and they require you to have a minimum number of everything, like a minimum number of hotel rooms have to sell. And then you have to have a minimum number of guests that are going to be eating the food. everybody, if anybody, and you understand this, if anybody's ever put one of these conferences on, all of that money that comes in, I can promise you it goes right back out into the venue because it is super expensive.
Yeah, crazy.
That's good. Yeah, it should be good. Look forward to seeing you there, Brett.
So
MJ in
Kansas
Dallas
City
last year.
this year.
Sorry, Greg. Were you in Dallas last year, Brett?
Yes,
you were.
It was
Okay.
in Dallas last year. We
Kansas
went
City
out.
this
Brandon and I actually talked about copyright out there. This year it's in Kansas City, so they've changed it up, which I know a lot of people are happy about a change of venue. Up in the Midwest, if they don't change it, I really would like to put on something in Dixie Alley at some point, because in Dixie Alley, we've all talked about it, hugely unique environment here. And, with tropical weather, with severe weather, there's so many different topics. And I know a lot of people down here that I could drag in within, Tennessee, Alabama, Atlanta, maybe. I mean, heck, a destination in Florida somewhere that's a vacation type spot, somewhere nice that we could really put on a banger of a conference.
Angela, I cut you off. You were going to ask something.
I just saw somebody ask where it was at in the comments,
Yeah.
so I was just saying Kansas City.
Kansas City.
MJ, have you guys had snow up in Minnesota yet?
We did
Yes.
right at Halloween, but it went away.
I got stranded.
You were there when it happened.
Yes. Yes.
I drove through my first storm today. We had about a foot of snow up here. So
Really?
yeah. It was not.
We may get some more next week.
That wild thing in Colorado last week was insane.
Oh my gosh.
Wasn't
yes,
it?
it was.
I mean,
Wow.
I hope it's a sign of things to come. I love winter weather, so I'm like
I
ready
do
to get
too.
out into
You
that.
you
versus-
shut your mouth. You shut
That's
your
right.
mouth.
Shut your dirty
Mute
mouth.
him.
Ugh.
Mute him.
I literally left Denver like a day before all that went on.
Oh,
Did you?
gosh.
Oh, wow.
Good timing.
God, I
Brett,
hate
at
that
some
Brett
point, I'd like
Adair.
to message you though, because
It's all right,
Yeah.
Greg. We'll come up there and we'll take all the snow for you. I mean, I literally though I couldn't put up with it the way that you guys do, with it being
Yeah.
the norm. I could take 2 or 3 solid winter storms down here, but again, we shut down for 2 inches of snow here.
yeah. Oh, a foot or a flake, and you close store or you
Exactly.
close the school. A foot or a
It's-
flake.
It's snow. It's cold.
Cold.
Right.
It's dark, and out here on the plains, it is windy. So that combination right there, like S my D. God, I hate winter.
Well, I don't. That's the one thing I don't like. I don't like a Kansas or a Nebraska snowstorm with a blue
Mm-mm.
northern. I can't stand it because you got that 50-knot wind element at the surface with it.
Mhm.
You bring that over toward the Mississippi River in the southeast, and I get to watch all the crazies try to drive in snow. I'm just going down the road and watching everybody else run off the cliff or whatever because they can't drive. I mean, that is like our prototypical thing, whether we deal with an inch, like Dina said, a flake or a foot. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
everybody
They do.
forgets how to drive, and they also forget that we're probably not supposed to drive on it here.
Yeah, well, nobody, it's
People
not.
just don't
here.
know how to drive in general.
What we need is
No.
some global warming to really, really fix this problem. Of the winter.
We'll
We
add that
have
to the
space
soapbox
lasers,
show.
Greg.
What?
We have space lasers.
Yeah,
Come
we
on.
do. Yeah, we do. We do.
We need like a whole state's worth of jet engines. We can blow it all to the north for you.
Yeah, no kidding, guys. I got to take off. Long day, and I got an early morning. So, hey, Brett, great talking to you, and
Yeah.
thanks for being a supporter of our show, because I know you got lots going on, and if Phil hasn't told you already, which he sometimes forgets to do that, but it is great having you on here, man. Really,
Oh
Yeah,
man,
it
I
is.
enjoy it every time. This is one of the few podcasts that I will definitely do.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk some more dirty minds games next time you come on. I'm sure that keeps bringing you back every time.
Say goodnight to our online audience.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks for
everybody.
watching.
Bye.
Thanks for sticking around
Take
for
care,
the
guys.
after show.
See you
You guys
guys.
are great. All right, Greggles, we'll see you.